Welcome to today's presentation on second part of the classical school in public administration. This second part of the classical school deals with two important personalities. One is Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick. These both personalities were called as Gulick and Urwick in the literature of public administration. Whenever we refer to classical theory, all the time these two names are going to appear. Today, we are going to know who are they, what about their contributions to the public administration. The objective of this presentation is that to understand the basic ideas of the classical school and the principles of organization as explained by Gulick and Urwick, and the importance of structure in organization as explained by the Gulick and Urwick. In previous presentations, we have seen Henry Fayol's contribution. Today's presentation, we are going to discuss about Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick. The important aspect was, if you refer to the literature of public administration, all the time there is a discussion on principles of administration. In Henry Fayol, the 14 elements of administration we discussed. In this classical school theory, we are going to discuss about the principles of public administration as explained by these both authors. Before going to the principles of public administration, briefly we will discuss about their personality and their contributions to other important areas. Luther Halsey Gulick, he was born in Osaka, that is in Japan, Yamamoto town of the Japan in 1892. And for your surprise, he lived for 101 years. He died in 1993. He, along with his father, he has migrated to United States when he was doing his high school education. Later, he completed his graduation, post-graduation, doctoral degree in America. He received his doctorate from Columbia University in 1950. Gulick actually, he joined in the military service to help the country. But unfortunately, because of his poor eyesight, he was not selected to the direct military line system. Then he worked as a staff helping the training programs in the military system in the Military Academy of America. This has given a different type of experience for the Luther Gulick. He identified how the military is functioning, what are the basic principles of the functioning of the military, and how we can take it to the civil systems. With this background, he started working on that. Gulick joined New York Institute of Public Administration, that is called NIPA, at the age of 30 as director, and he worked as a director for 40 years till the age of 70. Later, he continued as a chairman of the governing board for another 21 years, that is till the age of 91. It means he has worked in a particular organization. He built up a career of 61 years as head of the department. So, you can imagine his contributions to the New York City and New York Institute of Public Administration and other things. Another important aspect of his life was, it was written in his biography. One day he received a telephone call from the President of America, Roosevelt. Roosevelt said, "This is President of America speaking. I am appointing you as a member of the Presidential Committee to guide the President on administration." Without thinking of anything, Luther Gulick immediately replied, "Sir, I am sorry, I am busy with other works." Then Roosevelt replied, "You are saying no to the President of America." "Mr. Gulick, no, you know that, you are saying no to the President of America." Then Mr. Gulick said, "Yes, sir, fully knowing I am saying no to the President of America." Then Roosevelt said, "What is the important work you are having more than to help the President of America?" Then he said, "I had a work, I accepted to work with the Education Department of United States, that is equally a government work. It will take another 6 months to complete, only I can think about to join with you." Then Roosevelt said, "You are asking me to wait for 6 months." Gulick said, "That is up to you." And President Roosevelt was waited for 6 months and appointed him in the Presidential Committee advisor to the administration for the Roosevelt. See, these type of a small incidents will give an emotional attachment, how these people are attached to the work. Then exactly what he suggested. Within 11 months, he has given the advisory committee report and it went to the American Congress. American Congress approved 113 pages note with only one correction of one small word, as it is. This was the Luther Gulick. He was greatly influenced by Henry Fayol and Frederick Winslow Taylor. His important work, it was called as an edited volume on papers on science of administration, which published in 1937, co-edited with Lyndall Urwick. This book, Papers, is considered the important landmark in the study of public administration. He has several books for his contributions. Some of the important are Administrative Reflections from World War II, Metropolitan Problems and American Ideas, Modern Management for the City of New York, and the Papers on Science of Administration. Lyndall Urwick, he born in Britain in 1891, educated from the Oxford University. Urwick was a lieutenant colonel during the First World War in the British Army, and he was associated with a number of international management associations and was considered to be an outstanding consultant on industrial management. He published several books: Management of Tomorrow, The Making of Scientific Management, The Elements of Administration, The Patterns of Management and Leadership. He also edited Papers on the Science of Administration with Luther Gulick. After seeing this personality and personal background of these two important thinkers in public administration, let us know about their contributions. Number one, what is the importance of classical school according to these two authors? They say every human organization has a purpose. A group of human beings coming together to achieve a common objective gives rise to an organization. What is an organization? According to them, a group of people are coming together and working for common goal. This is organization. Organization, according to Urwick, is defined simply as determining what activities are necessary to purpose or plan. Further, how to arrange them in groups which may be assigned to individuals. If any individual all by himself is able to complete the entire process from commencement to completion, there will be no need of an organization. They say human history from its food gathering stage to present modern age has passed through several phases. While in an early stage where the life was simple and the man was engaged in the basic struggle for survival and had very limited objective, then the organization was relatively very simple. It was the industrial revolution which marked the beginning of a complex organizations. This complexity stems from the multi-dimensional goals involving stepping up of production with the help of exploding science and technology. The important aspect was organizations, organizational activities and the societies are complex in nature. And day by day technology is changing. Day by day new scientific innovations are coming. Its impact on the society, persons, work process and organizations. Increasing in the production brings the changes in the human values and calls for new adaptations and adjustments. It is in the wake of such developments the organizations passed through critical and crisis period. It is the situation warrants a detailed study of organization not only to gain deeper understanding but make us to the knowledge for building better organizations to achieve the set goals. The whole important discussion and background was after industrial revolution, the production levels are increased, a different type of items, different type of things are arising. So capitalism on its growth changed the existing organizations of the time. People values are changing, people understanding changing, techniques of each and every item and how to do the work of the various instruments are changing. If you take about the early history of organization. According to them, a systematic and scientific study of organization can be traced to the early period of the 20th century. Taylor, who conducted several studies on scientific management, can be considered a pioneer to the systematic study of the work. Taylor and Henry Fayol were almost the first to formulate certain postulates which were later developed into the principles by Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick. It is these principles that form the basis and substance of classical approach to the study of organization. Classical theory is mainly based on the experiences acquired by the man both in the military and industrial organization. This theory took a shape by the 30s of the 20th century. This was the period when the Industrial Revolution was turning the corner. Moreover, the emergence of United States of America as a potential economic power on the world scene was a significant development. Capitalism, which believes in the total release of the productive forces, was in offing. It was the demands of capitalist development and its complex organizations which worked as a catalyst for a detailed discussion on the principles of organization. The important aspect of the difference between other two authors like Henry Fayol and Frederick Winslow Taylor and with Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick, the basic difference. The first two authors concentrated on their experiences from industrial organization, whereas Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick, they have taken it from the military organization. And based on their experience of the military organization with the whatever already given from the industrial organization, they couple this both and they have given the new model of the principles to understand the functioning of an organization. The classical approach basically emphasizes on the structure of organization. Structure is a device through which the human beings working in an organization are assigned the tasks are related to each other. It believes that the effective functioning of an organization depends upon the type of structure that a group of human beings build and operate. Urwick commented on the structure. For everything, structure is required. Starting a work without a structure is illogical because in a good engineering practice, design must come first. Similarly, in a good social practice, design should come first. He further adds, logically, it is inconceivable that any individual should be appointed to a position carrying a large salary without a clear idea of the part which that position is meant to play in the general social pattern of which it is a component, the responsibilities and relationships attached to it, and the standard of performance which is expected in return of the expenditure. If you are going for a structure of an organization, how you are designing. He says, you are appointing a person and paying a large salary, and without having it, the person is not having any idea what he has to work, how he has to take the organization to further. It is going to create lot of problems in organization, and moreover, it's illogical even to think on that grounds. He concludes that it is stupid to attempt to order an expensive piece of machinery without a specification. Therefore, the basic search is to formulate certain principles which are capable of aiding in building sound organizations. The principles therefore provide the necessary conceptual framework to build organization and work as indicators to judge effectiveness of organization and its capability in achieving the set goals. Functioning of an organization is depend upon a structure. A structure is based upon a design. How this structure or design is going to be work are the principles. The principles of organization need to be appreciated against in this background. The principles were first systematically developed and incorporated in the book on Papers on Science of Administration in 1937, edited by Luther Gulick and Urwick. These papers made an effort to understand the basic cause which made human beings resort to organization. Luther Gulick argued that the basic cause for the genesis of an organization was division of work. He maintained, Luther Gulick, Every large scale or complicated enterprise required many men to carry it forward. Wherever many men are thus working together, the best results are secured when there is a division of work among these men. For example, he says, they are discussing about the division of work. A person can construct his house, he can dig the land, he can paint the walls, he develop a kitchen, everything he will do. It's not nothing wrong, a person can do each and everything, but lacking is specialization. For each and every work, there is a particular specialist is there. If you are not using human knowledge, you are constructing on your own, that is not going to be stand as per the organizations. Further added, the theory of organization has to do with the structure of coordination imposed upon the work division units of an enterprise. Hence, it is not possible to determine how an activity is to be organized without at the same time considering how the work in question is to be divided. The first, you divide the work, put it in different parts, different pieces, and how each activity is given to one particular work process and who is coordinating, how the activity is coordinated. If you are divided 1, 2, 3, 4, after 1, 2 has to complete, after 2, 3 has to complete. But the point is somebody completes 1 and immediately somebody completes 4 and you are waiting for 2 and 3 is going to create a problem. This is work activity coordination is more required in organization. Somebody is very much ready, he completes 4 and he will go. That is not the way. Complete 1, 2, 3, 4. This is why, because of this type of a clear-cut coordination system explanation, people call this theory as engineering theory and mechanistic theory. He concluded, Luther Gulick said, work division is the foundation of an organization. Indeed, the reason for organization. He thought that if one person could carry the entire quantum of work, that there would have been no need for an organization. Man invented organizations as he failed to perform the total work single-handedly. As a result, he had to divide the work, and it was this division of work, according to Gulick, which was the cause of the genesis of organization. There is a little bit contrast arguments to Luther Gulick. For example, James D. Mooney, it was a part of the Papers of Science of Administration, one of the article. He maintained coordination was the fundamental principle of human organization. Mooney mentions the term organization and the principle that govern it are inherent in every form of the concerted human effort, even where not more than 2 persons involved. For example, take 2 men who combine their efforts to lift and move a stone that is too heavy to be moved by one. In the process, one has to give a signal to start the work and the other has to act. Thus, even a small effort involving 2 persons has to have some form of organization. So, the principles in the classical approach, they have maintained different types. One is hierarchy, unity of command, span of control, basis of departmental organization, line and staff, delegation, decentralization, etc. Each of these principles is intended to provide the linkages between various functionaries at different levels of an organization. In addition, they also take into account the physical and mental limitation of the functionaries. The aim of each principle is to raise the level of efficiency of the organization. For this purpose, the human beings are required to be organized. The single man cannot provide efficiency. A group of people only can provide efficiency. To get that efficiency from the group, we need an organization. These principles bring in the distribution of work based on the position one is occupying and level of expertise he possesses. The people who have high degree of specialization occupy the higher positions and low degree of specialization the lower levels. The principle of hierarchy stems not only from the division of work, but also from the need of effective linkages among various functionaries working in the organization. The principles of span of control is based on inexorable limits of human nature. Luther Gulick notes that just as the hand of a man can span only a limited number of notes on the piano, So the mind and will of man can span but a limited number of immediate managerial contacts. He adds that the limits of control is partly a matter of limits of knowledge, but even more it is a matter of the limits of time and energy. Therefore, Gulick concludes that the executive of any enterprises can personally direct only a few persons. He must depend on these to direct others and upon them in turn to direct still others until the last man in the organization is reached. So, he is directing to his subordinates. The subordinates are going to direct their subordinates going to direct their subordinates. Ultimately, it has to reach each and every person. So, these type of the principles explained by the Luther Gulick as part of the classical theory highlights that the classical approach is based on three major premises. 1. Importance of structure. 2. Universality of experience. 3. Scientific validity of observations. Dear students, in the first part of this lecture of Classical Theory 2, Contributions of Luther Gulick and Lyndall Urwick, we have discussed the importance of the classical theory, contributions of the classical theory, and how the organization can work with design, with structure, with specialization.